Hi students, welcome to lesson 8 of the fractions unit. Today we're going to talk about rewriting fractions, okay? So what you really need for this is just mastery of lesson 1 fraction vocabulary. And you care about this because you're going to need it to carry when you're adding with fractions and also to help you borrow when you're subtracting with fractions. The goal of these lessons for me is to help you be prepared with the final skills you're going to need to do addition and subtraction with fractions, to learn how to rewrite a whole number as an improper fraction, which is really easy, as you'll see in a second, how to borrow from a mixed number when you need to for subtraction, and when you're adding with fractions, how to carry over from the fractions to the whole number section. Okay, let's give it a go. Rewriting a whole number, you guys have seen this before, but I wanted to include it again because it is important. I have a whole number of 3. Well, it's 3 wholes. So the easiest thing to do to rewrite a fraction is do 3 over 1. Anytime you have a whole number, you can just put a fraction bar underneath, put a 1 as the denominator, and you have it, because 3 divided by 1 is still going to be 3. Now, let's say for your purposes, you need it to have a specific denominator. Well, that's fine. It'll just be real easy, because whatever denominator you need it to have, say 7, right? You need it to equal something over 7. 1 times 7 equals 7, so do the same to the top. 3 times 7 is 21, and you're set to go, okay? Rewriting a whole number's improper fraction is as easy as putting a fraction bar and a 1 underneath, all right? Now, let's look at how to borrow from a mixed number for subtraction. So I've got a problem here for you. It's 5 minus 3 1/2. Okay, so you know that if you're subtracting 5 minus 3 1/2 is 0.5, 5 out of 10 tenths, right? You would normally need to borrow, and that's really easy in our normal base 10 system. We go like that, we subtract it out, we've got a 5 and 1.5. So you guys know how to do that. You're not always going to have such easy fractions to work with, but I wanted to show it here to show you that you guys do in fact know how to do this from our decimals unit. You can do this. Now let's look at a way you can do it using fractions, okay? One thing to remember is that you're going to have 5 wholes, right? You have 5 whole pizzas here, 5 whole numbers, and you're trying to take away 3 1/2 of them, and this is another good way to visualize it. I'm going to take away 1, 2, 3, and 1/2. To leave me with 1 1/2 again. So good, we've proved it with decimals, we've proved it with pictures. Now let's see how to do it doing it with math and fractions. Okay? What I like to do to help you out is we're going to make a little box for our subtraction problem. Okay? And we're going to split it here and here. And over here we're going to have our whole numbers, and over here we're going to have our fractions. So right now I have 5 and nothing out of nothing. And over here, I'm going to bring down my 3, and I'm going to have 1 out of 2 parts. Okay. You know you need to borrow. When you're subtracting, you're going to need 2 parts. That's fine. You're going to use the same denominator. Keep the denominator. So normally when we borrow, remember when I took cut the 5 away, it became 10 in the next one? Well, this you don't, when you take this 5 and you borrow 1 from it to 4, we're not splitting it up into tenths, 10 parts, we're splitting it up into halves, half parts. So this 4 is now, this 5 became 4 wholes and 2 parts of 2. Because here we have 4 and this is 1, so together we still have our 5. Now we can subtract out. 2 minus 1 is going to give me 1/2. 4 minus 3 is going to give me 3. Very good. I have another example here when it's not a whole number subtracting a mixed number, but when it's a mixed number subtracting another mixed number. So we're going to put up that same box, okay? And we're going to split it like this again. I'm going to put my whole numbers over here, and I'm going to split my fraction box. I'm going to have common denominators here. For these examples, I'm using common denominators. You do have to have common denominators for this to work. I'm going to borrow that. Oh, actually, let's back up a step. I'm going to go back. I have 1/4 with my 3, and I have 3/4 with my 1. Kind of confusing. All right, now we're ready to borrow. Okay, I'm going to borrow 1, which leaves me with 2 in that category. And remember, instead of breaking it down into tenths like in decimals, we're breaking it down into however many parts the denominator tells us. So we are now taking 4 out of 4 parts. So we have 1 plus our 4, so I'm going to change that. We're going to change this. 1 plus those 4 new parts is 5, which is great. So now I can do 5 minus 3 gives me 2 over 4, which I'm going to further reduce down to 1/2, okay? And then 2 minus 1 is 1, 1.5. That's how you're going to borrow. So we're just rewriting. We're taking the wholes and we're splitting them up into the parts and writing them over there with the fraction part. So what you kind of end up with is a mixed number with an improper fraction. Okay? Let's go to our next page. And this is just going to be a quick lesson on carrying to a mixed number for addition. Okay? Here we're going to end up with, when we add these together, we have 3 over 8 plus 7 over 8. You only add the numerators, and that's going to give me 3 plus 7 is 10 over 8. Now, I need to reduce this. I can divide both of those by 2. So I'm going to. 2 over 2 is going to give me 5 over 4. Now, this is not what I need it to be, okay? I have too much. So if I'm carrying there, what I need to think of is, oh goodness, I have 5 parts. I can take 4 of those parts away, right? I have 4 there, and then I have another one where I just have that much. Let me try to slowly erase. That's what I've got. So if I draw out my 5 parts, I can easily see that I can carry 1 over, and I'm left with that 1. Okay? Instead of needing 10 to carry over, like in base 10 addition, we need however many parts there are in the denominator. Okay? So if I have 5 out of 4, I can take 4 out once, carry it over to the whole numbers. So this is going to be 1 and 1/4. The other way to do it would just be to do it with improper fractions and converting it back. You guys have seen how to do that. Good luck and enjoy. Quick lesson today.